Welcome to the Ivory Egg technical briefing for the 27th of March, 2020. Today we're going to have a quick look at some of the Jung product updates, which were supposed to be released at Light and Building, but obviously with that being postponed, they've proceeded with the product release. So we've got lots of new information, and there's various release dates with some of this product. All of that may shift with what's going on, so just take everything with a grain of salt. But hopefully there's some relevant information here and some good new products from Jung. So let's get started. The first is some new finishes. Jung have released two new ranges, two new finishes, which will be available in the LS and the A ranges. So in those kind of style of keypads, this will be the finish. The first is matte snow white, and the second is matte graphite black. Really hard to tell without having physically seen these products. It's hard to kind of get a feel with what they're like, but the concept of a matte finish, I think, is quite nice and intriguing, and certainly it makes a nice change. It makes things just become a bit more kind of softer and blend into the surrounding surfaces quite well. So really looking forward to what these look like. They're going to be available from Q3 2020. They've given a bit of a vague date, which normally means they'll do what they can to get them out as soon as possible. Now we're going to see the matte and snow white will be available with all the different inserts and rockers and cover frames. Where we've got some other new products that may be available sooner, which we're going to come to in a minute. The finishes for the matte snow white and the matte graphite black would be available, but they'll be available at the later date, or when the whole range becomes available, whereas some of the other functions may be available sooner. But definitely one to look out for and take the opportunity to see it. I'm sure the Jung showroom that's just opened in central London will have the finishes as soon as possible, as soon as they're able to, on display. So a great opportunity to get in there and see what they look like. The next update is the LED indicator being added to the LS1912. Now these rockers are a brilliant kind of combination of a modern style and design, but with a more traditional functionality, if you like, with the rocker. You've got round rockers and you've also got the square rocker. And with the extensive range of finishes available from Jung, you can really find a combination that matches. So you can have either a traditional look with a traditional frame style, or you could have a very modern look with a modern frame style. So really intriguing. And the addition of the LED indicator just gives it a kind of a modern twist, which is quite neat. Now it requires the neutral in the back. It's the 230-volt light switch. It could work with KNX. They are talking about that. We just need to get some more detail about how that would work with the LED indicator, whether it would run maybe on a 24-volt feed. We'll just need to see. But a really nice kind of update to the existing LS1912 range. It's going to be available from June. So again, another one to watch out for. Another nice update is the new F10 range of KNX Rockers. These are using, the traditional style of this is what a keypad or a light switch looks like, but with all the intelligence of KNX. Now, two versions. There's push button, which is where the bottom half of the keypad works, so you're just pushing it at the bottom, or there's the rocker where you've got top and bottom, which will give you two additional points, point of contact at either, and they can be in one gang or two gang, and they can also have an LED indicator just in the middle of the units there. They come with an integrated bus coupler, so you have the bus coupler with the rocker action, and then you purchase the finish and the frame separately as per usual. Integrated temperature sensor, which I think is really important. It means this can be the only keypad on the wall. You don't need anything else. You don't need another symbol probe or anything. Take the temperature from the keypad and then feed that into maybe a heating regulator. The 6-channel manifold controller from Jung has integrated regulation, so that's all you need. And it might be you're using the F40 or the F50 range elsewhere in the property, but then in maybe circulation areas like hallways or guest bedrooms or kids' bedrooms, utility rooms, you don't need that number of buttons, or you don't need that many options, or maybe you don't need that cost. That's where these really come into play. If you've just got a room with 1 or 2 circuits of light, but you want it to be integrated into the wider control system, so you can do an all-off, for example, these are perfect. Keeps that cost point down, gives the functionality, and with the integrated temperature sensor means that you don't need anything else on the wall, and you can still do the room control and maybe adjusting the set point via one of the Jung server solutions. It's got KNX Data Secure, and pretty much all of the new KNX products coming out of Jung do support KNX Data Secure. So it's great to see them taking advantage of the new security aspect that KNX launched, a couple of years ago. And as we're seeing more and more products coming to market, it's going to be able to do entire installations with Data Secure. Data Secure is where the messages on the bus are secure, as opposed to IP Secure, which wraps the KNX IP messages in a security blanket. The Rockers support the extension modules. So there's the standard versions, which don't, but then there'll be the universal versions, which have additional connections on the box. So then you can use some of the Jung extension modules, or you can use it as a binary input, which is quite a nice feature as well. They're going to be in all the ranges in the A, AS, CD, and LS ranges, and they'll be available from June. But the black matte and the matte black and the new matte white finish, that would be available later in the year when those ranges become available. Another big update for KNX is a new actuator range from Jung. There's 3 different versions. There's a 6-gang, a 16-gang, and a 24-gang, and they can all be configured as blind actuators as well as 230-volt blind actuators. They're using the full space of the actuator. They've got the terminals at the top and the bottom, which enables them to keep the size down in terms of the module width, and makes it easier to wire. They're still maintaining quite a nice separation between the circuits, and with all the labels having laser inscription, it's very clear how to wire them, very simple to install. They've really packed the product full of functionality with a lot more logic. Kind of historically within KNX, we see logic per channel, and you might have a 2-channel OR gate. Well, this product changes that and has the logic as separate function blocks within the device, and takes up the logic gates up to 4-channel, for example. It's got comparator functions, so you can compare received values with other ones. It's got converter, so you could receive a value and convert it to another one. So really packing it full of intelligence, so you're reducing the need to have other products in the system. Your one Jung switching your one Jung switching actuator, you should be able to handle a lot more and reduce the need for maybe an external server or something like that. It's going to have an optimized ETS application. KNX have changed how properties work and parameters work within the software, and made it so that manufacturers can put a lot more information in there. You can have multiple columns, so you can now have tables. So you could set up the scenes, for example, as one table overview. You can have imagery. You can have a lot better text supporting. So it's going to be a lot easier application, and it will work with the new Jung device configuration app, which allows you to update firmware as well, so be able to change that functionality over time. Again, supports KNX Data Secure, and is going to be available from June this year. The next device is quite a interesting one, really. This is something that I know a lot of people have asked for or thought about over time, and kind of wondered why we don't have it. It's a power supply with an integrated IP interface. So you can, one device powers the bus, but also has your connection for programming or for different devices to connect to the system. So 320 milliamps. It is just one device, one power for the bus. It doesn't have an auxiliary voltage, but we'd always recommend using a separate power supply for devices that use additional voltage anyway. So I don't really see that as being an issue. Supports KNX data for the objects. There's objects to reset the bus, for example, but also supports IP secure on the IP layer. There's full electrical separation from the KNX power supply and the IP device internally, which is good. And it supports 8 tunneling connections. So you can connect 8 different systems into the KNX. So that could be an external AV system like Savant or Control4, or you could be using it for programming. It's 6 modules wide, and it's already available, which is pretty cool. The next update is kind of taking us away from KNX, which is some wall-mounted wireless keypads. Now, these are quite intriguing. There's 2 different versions. One supports Zigbee and is a certified Philips Hue device. It's completely wireless, and it's battery-free. It's using the Notion technology around generating electricity and using that to send the signal. So it doesn't need battery, it doesn't have batteries that need replacing, but it's doing that over the Zigbee protocol, the Zigbee radio standard. So could be mounted on the wall anywhere, maintenance free, you're never going to need to go back to it, and gives a really, really simple way of controlling your Philips Hue lights without controlling the switch live. So you're not isolating the Philips Hue with the light switch, which is what would happen normally. You're actually controlling it via the Philips Hue intelligence, and you can use the Philips Hue app to link the functions to groups of lights or individual lights, which is quite interesting. The other version supports Bluetooth Low Energy, again using the battery-free technology from Notion. So maintenance free, but it's on the Bluetooth protocol. So as we see more and more systems taking advantage of the new Bluetooth mesh network, BLE or Bluetooth Low Energy, then you might have all your lighting on this Bluetooth protocol, and then you just have a simple Jung keypad to turn them on or off. Available in the A and the LS ranges from Jung, so which is the more popular ones, particularly in the UK, and it's going to be available from June. This is complementing some of the other wireless keypads that we already have from Jung, such as the KNX RF versions and the Notion ones. So, 4 different protocols that are supported by Jung in terms of wireless keypads. So just something to keep in mind. It might open up some new business opportunities, where you're talking to a customer, maybe you're talking about KNX, but they just want something simpler and they like the idea of Philips Hue, where you could offer them a nice looking keypad. Or it's maybe it's doing a bit of a marketing campaign to people who already have Philips Hue installed and offering them a nicer, more elegant way of switching the system. So a couple of different ways there that maybe this could be relevant for your business. Cool. Just to sum up a few of the other updates that have been released as part of this release cycle. The first is support for Alexa voice control and Google Home over the Jung servers. So you've got the Smart Visu server, which is the smaller one. You've got the Visu Pro, but also you've got the eNet server for the eNet protocol eNet system. So it's a firmware upgrade on existing devices that's already available. So you update the server, and then you're able to configure voice control over your KNX or your eNet installation. Another one is a new app which enables you to get the KNX secure devices into ETS really quickly. So KNX devices that are using KNX Secure come with a pre-shipped factory key, which is stamped on the side of the product, and it's normally available as a card as well. You have to enter that information into ETS. Now you can use that with a USB scanner or the camera of the device, or you can type the very, very long string yourself. Or you can just use the Jung app, take a photo of the QR code, and then there's an app you need to install in ETS, but once you've got both running, it will automatically sync and it will populate those codes into ETS. So a really simple way of saving a bit of time with your commissioning if you're doing a secure installation. Another big update is Jung's support of BIM, which is where we have the little files that tell us how the products work. And if you're doing BIM modeling for the entire project, you're going to create a virtual installation or a kind of a digital version of the building. Now, BIM's required on all public buildings, and we're going to see more and more over the years rolled out to other types of buildings, where as part of the kind of commissioning process, or even as part of the tender process, you need to submit BIM files for all the individual products that you're specifying. And then as your as-built, that would need to be part of that package as well. It opens up some really interesting possibilities in terms of how you can maintain a building, but also how you store and record data. If you've got a BIM model, a digital representation of a building and all the different devices in it, and you're connecting that to your KNX building management system, you can start to populate that digital version of the building with all the statuses of everything in the property. How is everything working? It could be used for maintenance. It could just be used for facilities management to see how everything's working. Could be doing some things like predictive maintenance. Really, really interesting possibility. And Jung fully support it. So the BIM files are available for all Jung products. And the final one on this page is a new software license for the IP interface, which enables remote access via the Jung portal.
If you've got IP interface in your in the KNX project, you just register on the Jung portal, install the software license, and then you have remote access for programming wherever you are in the world. You don't need to do anything with routers or firewalls, opening ports. You can just access the Jung portal, and then you'll always have access to that property. The customer has the ability to control that access as well, so they can enable or disable remote access, which can be done via it's via an object, so that could be linked to a keypad. Maybe you have a keypad in the cupboard or in the plant room or on the app that they enable remote access, and then you're able to remotely program. A couple of other updates I've wrapped up. There's some new USB chargers, support of USB-C, and a new socket type. It is only available in Shuko at the moment. Hopefully we'll start to see other support for other socket types soon, but supporting both the normal USB that we're all familiar with, but also the newer USB-C. And it's available as a standalone unit as well for USB charging. The PIR now has a temperature sensor integrated. So for your KNX installations, maybe in the bathroom, you've put a PIR up and you just want a simple device that has provides the temperature onto the bus. And as per we talked about earlier, you want that to go to the regulator and do the heating control in the room. You don't need anything else on the wall. Nice and simple installation. And the final one is the Jung AR Studio. Now this is an app that you can download. You need to print out a little square, which you can just see on the wall here. Once you've printed that, you can stick that on the wall. It is also something you can get from Jung. The guys at the showroom will definitely be able to sneak you a couple. Then using the app, you can do augmented reality. You can select a different finish or style of keypad or rocker or 230-volt keypad. And you can, using the camera on the phone, you can see what it would look like in that installation. So a really, really great way to engage with customers around, what they could achieve. Now, this might be done on an existing building. It might just be something that the customer can see to get a visual representation of what the Jung product range would look like on the wall. So really, intriguing kind of app and thing, just a great way to really engage with your customers. All right, that's it for this Ivory Egg technical briefing. Great to see Jung kind of pushing the boundaries around what's possible with with devices and aesthetic and design, and really looking to innovate and release new solutions. So we'll see all of these coming out over the next few months. I'm sure there'll be some other things that Jung will be able to launch at Light and Building when it happens later in the year. So thanks for watching. Lots of links below through to the Ivory Egg website, product blogs, but also through to the information on the Jung website as well. Thanks for watching.